Hey folks, hey Noah, great to see you again.
You
I
too.
almost don't want to interrupt that, so I'm gonna cater my demo to be additive to what Noah just brought you through, because we actually just released an MCP this week, which was not what I was going to demo, but I only caught maybe the last 10 minutes of what you went through, Noah, and it was like joining a PhD level college course coming in at the end. So I think I got the gist of what you were trying to do. One thing I will call out, I think you were using planning mode in Claude. I went really deep on that myself 2 weekends ago, and there's a really good tool out of the box that Anthropic provide, but you need to go and fetch it from your repo first. So I hope that brings you to like the right timestamp in the video. But there's this thing called Ask User Question tool. And where I think you were letting it do planning, Noah, but
Yeah.
the out of the box planning in Cloud Code is like okay. They have a much better planning tool, which is kind of
Yeah.
like your expert level, I don't know, senior product manager, and it will irritate you with how many questions it asks. But like you were saying there, you don't want to commit to let Claude run for an hour as you fall asleep at the keyboard. If you do, you want to make sure you have the right inputs added. So let me just see if I can pull up their repo here really quick. But it's like the best tool I found to help you get started. This guy. Um, Here we go. I'll drop this in the chat as well. But this ask user question, this is like your best friend. Where's my chat window gone to? There we go. And then I'm pretty sure if you just go to like Claude Code and say like, hey, install this for me, it'll figure it all out for you. It's pretty incredible. This guy. Yes. So
But
if I'm overdoing what you just did, Noah, let me
no,
know.
no, no, it's great.
Yeah. So I think you can just get it to install. Maybe this one, it may not be, but it's a direct integration that Anthropic provide. You need to go and download it. It's amazing for planning. It takes a lot of the work out of the strategy you might need to do, and you can just like curate it in the right way. But that YouTube video as well is very good. Um, all right. Well, I jumped straight in there. So taking one step back, hey folks, I'm Owen. I'm from AirOps. Maybe you've heard of us, maybe you have not. We're a content operations platform. I've known Noah for the last 18 months since I joined the company. Before that, I led like paid marketing and SEO at my previous company. I was a huge AirOps user, so I was super excited to join the team here. Now I lead growth, so I'm a little bit more abstracted from the like core SEO work. But if you're interested, we won't go as detailed as Noah just did, but we actually have an MCP webinar on Monday, which we'll cover in more depth what I hope to bring you through here in a couple of minutes. But yeah, we're like a content operations platform. I'm Owen. Jim is our growth marketer. He also joined us on this call. But I plan to maybe go in a different direction with this demo, but I might vibe it live because a
Ooh.
lot of what I saw from Noah's end there is going to require really good data. So if you're building like your own custom in-house tool or you want to do like strategy, you need it to be grounded in everything but hallucinations. Like it needs to be grounded in like your GSC, I think you were querying, like GA4, and then we also play on like the AI search side. So what we released last week was we call it Page 360, although it needs to be updated in product. But it brings together your GSC, so your Google Search Console, your GA4, which is your intent, your engagement, your conversion metrics, and AI search all at the page level. So it's kind of giving you that like full funnel insight across all of your pages. And that's good because we heard a lot of our users saying, hey, like before I can even get into creating content, I need to jump between like 10 different tools. I have Looker Studio, I have like Domo, I have like Tableau. So this is our like first effort at trying to like aggregate all of those views together. And there's a lot of numbers here. So it's actually like hard to know where to go with it. So I pulled up a like demo Phantom Buster account that we have. So out of the box, like we all know for getting in your top 10 blue links or into like citations, like refresh is huge. Creating content with the right attributes is also like a massive like set of tasks that you could do to get ranked and get mentioned. So out of the box, we just provide you with some of like what we call smart filters. So almost page one pages to ranking slipping. So these are all the opportunities you can immediately get going on. If I click one of those, almost page one is going to start to filter on pages between 10 and 20. And again, there's a lot here. I could spend days scrolling. So maybe my focus in a given week is on a particular topic, or I want to say, oh, I really want to optimize for what's almost on page one and is currently getting cited because my boss is on me to make sure that we're mentioned for the right criteria. So if my internet stops lagging on me, I can click this. So here we're saying it's in probably on page two. It has sessions that come from ChatGPT, and that traffic is, we'll say, greater than like 10. I want to make sure it has like decent potential. So now I'm down to like fewer pages. And then what else might we add? Engagement on the page is what does engagement get measured by? We'll say, I think that's like time on page. So we'll say greater than 50. So quickly you can like slice to an individual like sliver that you will care about. And if you have your own dedicated topics or directories, it'll make actually getting down to the priority task that you want much simpler. But if I think Adina is our champion over at Phantom Buster. She can come in here and say, okay, these are my like highest value opportunities for this week. And then if you don't know about AirOps, our core set of tasks is building workflows that help you do content creation, refresh, whatever you want under the hood. So then what I can do here is I can say take action on selected. I can if I have workflows, add it to an existing one. For demo purposes, we'll say create a new grid, and it will add those items there for me. So I could have had a better demo instance, but here we'll add like power agents. And we might want to do, we could do like a brief generator, we could write full content, or in this case, it's likely just a refresh we want to perform on the page. So we'll look at like adding external links, and maybe as well we refresh based on interviewing our subject matter expert internally. So depending on your core use case, you can take pages that you care about, found via the metrics that are most important, and then start to apply the actual like content updates that you want. And then from there, you can publish directly to your CMS. I'll pause there because I saw some questions come up in the chat. That was a lot, but uh, Kyle, do you want to jump in with your question? I think Kyle, you're actually on our MCP Alpha, so nice to meet you in person.
Yeah, how's it going? And yeah, no, the question I had is like in the pages report, and this actually related to the question I had in the Alpha cohort Slack.
Yes.
Was I had noticed that there were a substantial amount of pages, more than what I would have expected. We have, let's say, 20,000 pages in a folder, but AirOps is reporting like 35. Um, And so I was looking to see, can I get that information out and analyze or assess like what that is. It's really hard to like drill in
Oh
this
yeah.
feed. And so I attempted to do that through the MCP. It ended up erroring out because I think of how much was there. Um, and so the question, I guess, is there ability to, or could there be an ability to export this information into a CSV format for kind of outside of
Yeah.
platform
Yeah,
analysis?
yeah. Totally. I'm pretty sure it's like a feature flipper on our side.
Yeah.
So let me add that. I'm pretty sure we're gonna go to prod with it next week, but that will be an easy thing for us to add. So
There's
I
like
mean,
so many things I've been talking to Amber about, and he's like, "Yep, we got, we're coming out
yeah,
shortly with it."
let me just make a note in my own document here. Okay, so CSV download. Okay, that's a great question. And then anything else? Uh, Kyle or Ryan, I think you both kind of were going in that thread.
Yeah. Yeah. I think Ryan's question, and Ryan, you can elaborate on this, but like what types of third-party external system integrations are there? I had asked a question also of like, can we post up to Slack via a Slack integration if there's like a need for human review or
Hmm,
something like that? Not like not everybody is like in the platform monitoring things. So like what are the ways
yes,
that we can notify and do things out of the system that better connect our workflows with external users or people who aren't necessarily native to the platform?
great question. So maybe let's just take a quick example that we can build live. So if I care about, we'll say like refresh, I'll add this one. And again, our intent with a lot of these like out of the box is that you like use it as a base and then you make it your own. Like there's a lot of pre-work you should put in, but we'll just say I add this and it's going to take my URL. I can give it like extra direction. I really should feed in what the primary keyword is to focus on. And I feed in my brand kit. So I'm giving it the context of, hey, here's the page to go and work on. The primary keyword, maybe I'm shifting intent with the refresh. So I would feed that in, and I'd also pass in my brand kit. So in this case, it might be Phantom Busters plain one. I could run this workflow, but your question, Kyle, let me just do test, and then I don't know what this page is about outbound workflows. Nice and simple. Um, if I hit run, this will run in the background. And then your question, Kyle, was around, hey, if all of this is done and maybe I'm running three or four at the same time, can I get an alert to say, hey, like this is ready in Slack? You could just create that out of the box. So you would do like add column, workflow. I could create a new workflow and I probably want to pass in like URL. So then we'll just say Slack alert. And then this is a workflow builder. There, you could do infinite things. In my last company, I built a lot of RevOps stuff out of the workflow builder. But we'll just say, take a, and this is our copilot. This is the best way to get started building. Take a URL as input and send a message to our content team Slack channel to notify them that the refresh is complete. And then I'll do auto mode. So again, we're big proponents of human review. You can definitely use our spreadsheet style view to execute left to right, auto publish to your CMS. Please don't do that. It's not good for you. It's not good for your domain health. So like whether you want to actually review your content in the grid and markdown format, make edits, have your team come in, leave comments, or as kind of Kyle was mentioning there, maybe you want to like send a Slack alert. Um, I guess we don't have this channel, but you would just have a single step workflow here. And what it would do is once your previous step was finished, it would take that content, send it on. I just here need to change the channel name. Does
Sweet.
that answer your question?
Yeah, this is great. And tying it back into, I think, the original intent of your demo here is, when we're looking at 360 and the analytics reporting and everything else is like, how can we automate reporting of performance over time?
Hmm.
Have things gone up? Have things gone down? And this is a great way, even if it's like a Slack to yourself from the system on a recurring schedule, that you
Yes,
can get that, review it, digest it, maybe rephrase some stuff, and then post it up into internal. I work in-house, so this like is a huge thing for making efficiencies in my reporting, which is such a drag. So
I love
this
it.
type of
Yeah,
thing is great for that. Thank you.
super. Yeah, no worries. Um, any other questions? Otherwise, I might tell you a little bit about RMCP or just how you can get going, and I'll hand it back to Noah.
Yeah, so my question about that was about external stuff is, I mean, Slack is a built-in integration, but if there's something that's not integrated and we want to send some of our data out to that system, have it process it, and then send it back. So my example was like this interview droid software, right? It would send a page into the system, and then like an expert could come in and get scheduled to meet and talk about,
Mm.
content there, and then have that transcript sent back. I mean, that's just an example, but I'm just thinking about systems that are outside of this one
Yep.
that already have the functionality we need. Can we ping it and ping it back?
Absolutely. What we have, I'm not going to know what instance it's in the next 3 minutes. What we have internally is a grid, so like that spreadsheet style view we were looking at there, and we have internal experts that once a week receive a phone call on a topic that we're going to write a blog post about next week. So they get a phone call, which is triggered by Zapier. Um, Essentially, the Zap will listen to them, transcribe what they say, and have just a webhook from Zapier to paste that full transcript into a cell in a new row. And then basically that sets up Josh and Steph on our content team to then go and like run the workflow. So that would be like how you could get context in if you needed to get context. And sorry, that context in using just a webhook to send it to the grid. If you wanted to get context out, it would be very like that quick workflow we built for Kyle there, where you would just have like a single step to run it, or you could put it as an auto last step at the very bottom of whatever workflow you care about here. And then that will again push it out to whatever tool you care about.
Awesome. Great.
Thank
Uh,
you. Oh, and could we see the MCP?
Yes, yes,
So
yes,
very
yes, yes.
excited.
What I'll do is I'll point you towards our docs, because that's going to be your best way to get going in the next 2 minutes. So out of the box, you can pull in all of your like visibility, so anything AI search data related, anything GA4, GSC. There's a lot more under the hood that we don't like publicly announce here, but you're going to care about like use cases. So whether it's checking your performance, comparing yourself against competitors, there's a bunch of sample questions here that will work for you today. And I'm just going to put this in the chat for everyone. So if you don't have an account, you can create one for free today. You can track up, I think, 200 prompts. And then you'll be able to attach your GSE, GA4, and then each of these questions here will give you good value. The last thing I will say is also check out our most recent blog post. We have a couple of demo videos included here of like exploring your data to someone's question as well, like seeing like rich results in Claude. You can generate reports without ever needing to leave it with our MCP as well. And then if you have other MCPs like Slack or Notion, all Claude will do the hard work for you. So the last thing I'll say is whether you're going Noah's Claude code route or you want to maintain everything in just like a chat interface, MCPs are your best friends and they're just super, super powerful. So I would say experiment to your heart's content over the next few days with it.
Why are they your best friend? Are they
Uh,
more like a replacement for cookies, or more like another kind of API?
they're
I
be
can't decide.
they're better than API. So everyone's gonna get this is not design approved. Please don't come back to my design team with it. But before, if you were in Claude or Gemini and you wanted to interact with like your Slack data or like YouTube, you would need to have like a server in the middle to make API calls, which no one wants to do. So now you can just go into Claude, like basically one click integration and then you just live at the AI assistant layer and it's going to handle everything once you've made that connection. So rather than needing to become a developer, having to figure out how do I interact with all these tools, you just literally click a button for any of these and you're able to get all of the value from it. What I'm saying is like on this slide is that's the current state today where you're just getting the data and you almost need to like create a doc and then go elsewhere. Basically every tool, including ourselves, is able to like embed charts natively in the chat interface as well. So where where you don't have a dashboard, you just want to like ask quick questions, or maybe your CMO is asking something live, you can just do a live dashboard creation right from the chat.
I have a little joke and then we can hand it back to Noah.
Oh yeah, let's
Um,
go. Let's hear the joke.
what you were just saying, like your CMO is asking for numbers in Slack. I want to
Yeah.
respond with like, let me AirOps that for you.
Yes.
My God.
You can just ask, you can just ask them.
The best example I have from the last few days, and it's potentially gonna help you out, which is why I'll mention it, is one thing we often struggle with is just coming up with like net new ideas from all of the context that's going on at the company. So what I did the last day was I asked, I have like Slack, Notion, and AirOps as my three main MCPs in Claude. I asked it, what are our like gaps as opposed to competitors. So what are our top opportunities? So that's going to start to dig into like what our competitors do where we don't have content. And then I said, compare that to what has been going on in like a specific Slack channel. And then I give it like product requirement docs. And it came out with like 5 articles that we were working on this week, which we published just this morning. And like half of them are already cited. So we just basically went from some data, internal context, which would have taken us a lot longer than just like 3 or 4 prompts. And then we used AirOps to generate the content. And now it's cited today. So just use the tools to take some of the stress out of your life.
We love that. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Oh, and that's
And if
great. Thanks.
people have questions, please hit me up.
Awesome. And we will share the blog post that has these videos and everything in the channel as well. Andy had a great question a couple weeks ago about how to explain MCP like I'm five. And I don't know if we've ever found like a really great article that kind of like sums it up perfectly. So if anyone has found that, please feel free to share that as well. Um, because some of us might need even more background. I'm like, is it like a cookie or an API? Neither. Okay. Thank you so much, Owen and Jem, for joining us.